Refer to the notebook. Tell me, first auditor in case of a non-government company is appointed by whom? By the board. Within how many days? 30 days from the date of incorporation, and if not, then within 90 days by the members. How? In a general meeting, correct? These are the first auditors, है ना? Any person who is the next auditor will be called as subsequent auditor. This subsequent auditor will be appointed when? At the first AGM. First auditor ka tenure will be till when? Till the conclusion of the first AGM. So subsequent auditor will be appointed in the first AGM, and he will hold office till when? Till the conclusion of the sixth AGM. So he is appointed at the AGM, but his tenure will start from when? From the conclusion of that AGM. Kyunki till the conclusion of that AGM, your first auditor is going to be the auditor, correct? And tenure of his tenure is going to be till conclusion of the sixth AGM, right? Will a subsequent auditor be appointed there as well in that sixth AGM? Yes or no? Yes, he will, and his tenure will be till the conclusion of the sixth AGM, that AGM being the first AGM, correct? If there is a casual vacancy, what do you mean by casual vacancy? Vacancy that is arising due to what reason? Any reason. So vacancy that is arising during the course of his appointment due to any reason. We have divided the reasons because the person who appoints and how many days the appointment is done is different. So we have classified if casual vacancy is caused due to what? Either DID or any other reason, death, incapacity, disqualification or any other reason, then who appoints the auditor? Board appoints within how many days? 30 days. And if auditor resigns, then dual approval. First is the board within 30 days plus the members. Members will pass what? An OR in the next 3 months. Correct? So once again, quickly, first auditor in case of a government company, in case of a non-government company appointed by the board within 30 days, if not by the members within 90 days. Then subsequent auditor is appointed in the first AGM, will hold office until conclusion of 6th AGM. Casual vacancy due to DID or any other reason, then board within 30 days, and due to resignation, then board in 30 days plus OR in 3 months, correct? And if it is a government company, what do you mean by government company? Government company means where more than 51% of the paid up share capital is held by CGSE or together by CGNSE and includes a subsidiary of a government company. But this is not a chotusa definition. It has got a wider scope which also includes direct or indirect control. So government controlled entities also are included in this definition. अगर ये वाले कंपनीज का ऑडिटर का अपॉइंटमेंट है, then the first auditor to be appointed within how many days? 60 days. By whom? CNAG. If not, then by the board within 30 days. If not, by the members within 60 days. This auditor is going to hold office until when? Until conclusion of the next AGM. And every year CNAG appoints a new auditor. CNAG will appoint an auditor within how many days? 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. So normally if an individual is appointed as an auditor, he will have a term of how many years? 5 years. So till the conclusion of 6th AGM. And if it's a firm, then 2 such terms. But in case of government company, auditor will be appointed every year. Casual vacancy bhi ho sakta hai government company mein. Then who appoints? Within 30 days CNAG appoints. If not, then board appoints within 30 days. Correct? Government company के case में do we differentiate casual vacancy due to what reason? No, we do not differentiate, है ना? So these were different sections, subsections in case of appointment, in case of first auditor, subsequent auditor, and even in case of casual vacancy, right? और क्या क्या है यहाँ पर देखो? This is done. Okay, so a person who is appointed, considered to be appointed as an auditor, before he is appointed, what should he do? Give 2 things. One is written consent and another is a certificate. Certificate will state these things. Firstly, that he is eligible to be appointed as an auditor. Next, he is not disqualified. Next, appointment is within the terms of appointment, within the ceiling limit, and there are no pending proceedings against him with respect to professional matters. Also that he is satisfying the criteria given under 141. So this is given as a certificate by whom? By whom? By the auditor, correct? Once this auditor is appointed, company has to file a form called as ADT1 within 15 days. Within 15 days. With whom? With ROC. Once again, who files the form? Company files with ROC within 15 days of the meeting whenever he is appointed, correct? Now board is the person who will, board is going to suggest this person as the auditor, correct? So board will consider these things. What is it? First is qualification, next is his experience, next is any pending proceedings with respect to professional matters, and this board is going to suggest this auditor to the members, because auditor is appointed where? By the members in the general meeting, correct? But if the company is required to have an audit committee under section 177, then who suggests the auditor? The audit committee will suggest to the board. If board approves, then this is put forward in front of the members. If not, then board will, what will board do? Agar board is not satisfied, then board will send this back, board will refer this back to the audit committee. Audit committee, two things can happen. Either audit committee agrees or doesn't agree. If audit committee is agreeing and suggesting a new person, fine. If audit committee doesn't agree, then what will board do? Board will have their own recommendation. Audit committee ka khud ka recommendation. Both of this will be put in the members meeting. So now it is up to whom? Up to the members to decide who is going to be the auditor, correct? If everything is going on well, whatever audit committee suggests, that only board will also suggest, and members will appoint him only as the auditor, correct? Is this clear? Yes? Okay. What was this? Compulsory rotation of auditors. This section applies, this subsection applies only in this case. First is if it is a listed company. Second, if it is unlisted public company having paid up share capital of 10 crores or more, or if it is private company paid up share capital 50 crores or more, or any other company having borrowings or deposits, how much? 50 crores or more. So if they are appointing an individual, then he can serve as an auditor only for one term. If it is a firm, then for 2 terms. And after that, what is applicable is the cooling period. So cooling period is what? The gap between the maximum tenure and until he can be appointed again. And that cooling period is also 5 years. For individual it is 5 years. For a firm also it is 5 years only. But in the cooling period, these 3 firms cannot be appointed as the auditor. What did we read it as? 3 points for what? First is? Okay, 1 second. Yes. Correct. Common partner. So A, B and Co and AC and Co have got a common partner, Mr. A. If A, B and Co ka cooling period chal raha hai, can AC and Co be appointed? No. Second one, if they are firms under the same network, so big firms like KPMG, if they are working under the same brand name or same network, agar ek ke liye cooling period hai, dusra firm cannot be appointed, correct? And last is where the signing partner is resigning and joining another audit firm, correct? If it is that particular partner, engagement partner only is resigning and joining another firm, that other firm also cannot be appointed. First 2 cases are applicable even if the signing partner is different, and last case is applicable only if it is that signing partner retiring and joining. Is this clear? Any doubts over here? Okay. Any other point we have missed over here? Time period for existing not applicable right now. Right of the auditor is to resign, and removal of the auditor is the right of the company. ये company कर सकता है क्या? Even though we have the terms related provision, yes, these rights are not going to be prejudiced, है ना? याद है ये? Okay. Provisions with respect to rotation. Here, members, internal rotation or called as super rotation is applicable if who resolves? Only and only if members resolve. So members are basically telling कि signing partner, engagement partner is going to be different, correct? Is this compulsory to be applicable? No, it depends upon the members, है ना? So the partner and his team at such interval can be rotated. A, B and Co made this year and next year we will have Mr. A and his team. Mr. A is the signing partner. Next year we would want Mr. B as the signing partner. ऐसा चलेगा? Yes, so this is a rotation. Inside this rotation, super rotation or internal rotation, this is allowed. Can joint auditors be appointed as well? Yes, so more than one auditor for the same audit will be called as a joint auditor, correct? Manner of rotation, audit committee, same thing again, board, this we have seen. Break in the term of continuous period is going to be considered. Okay, so after 2 years, if this auditor resigns, after 1 year he wants to come back for 3 more years, wo chalega kya? Nahi chalega, because once a break starts, there only the cooling period of 5 years will begin. Is this also clear? Yes? Okay. Casual vacancy is done over here. What else? If auditor is not appointed or reappointed at a general meeting, is it considered to be a casual vacancy? No. What will happen then? The same auditor, existing auditor only will continue till such an auditor is appointed. If rotation provisions are not applicable, the same auditor is going to be reappointed unless these 3 things. Firstly, he will be appointed if he is not disqualified, if he is not given his unwillingness, and if SR is not passed, that some other person should be appointed or he should not be appointed. Agar ye nahi hai, then the same auditor only is going to continue. Is this also clear? Repeat this once again. Retiring auditor may be appointed if he is not disqualified, if he is not given his unwillingness, and SR is not passed, that he should not be appointed or some other should be appointed in his place. Correct? Then section 140 talks about removal and resignation of auditor. Correct? Removal of auditor can be done under these 3 heads. What are they? By the board, by the members, and by the tribunal. By the board, agar board remove kar raha hai to the procedure. First is board resolution. Okay, 3 things required. What are they? Board resolution, CG approval, and SR. For this we have time limits as well. Once you pass the board resolution, apply to CG within 30 days. CG will give approval within any days. Once we receive the approval, then within 60 days we have to pass an SR in the general meeting. Correct? Next one, members nikal sakte hai kya auditor ko? Yes, and how can they do that? By special notice under section 115. This special notice will be sent by a minimum group of people. Who are they? 1% of voting right or 5 lakh rupees paid up share capital. So they are telling they don't want this auditor, or they are telling they want somebody else in place of this auditor. Once they send it to the company, what should company do? Send it to the auditor. Why? Because auditor has got a right to make representations. These representations are sent back to the company. What should the company do with the representation? Send it to all the other members. Correct? Agar reasonable time mein nahi mila, 21 clear days khatam hone aa raha hai, company sends off this sends off the notice, does not attach the representation. What should they do? They should state the fact in the notice that the auditor has made or is going to make representations. Correct? And the 2 other rights are available to this auditor. What are they? First is, he will also have a right to read this out at the general meeting. And when he is reading it out, what should others do? Listen, because he has also got a right to be heard. So 3 rights are available to the auditor. First right is to make representation. Second right is to read out this representation. And third right is to right to be heard. Correct? So what all is the company required to send to the members? Ek to notice bhejega. Notice may state this fact about representation. Then send the representation itself if it is received within a reasonable time. Is this also clear? Yes. Agar company ko ye bhejne ka nahi hai, then what can company do? Send it to the tribunal, but that is available only and only if the auditor abuses. So basically, auditor is passing any derogatory comments on whom? Either company or any person. So tribunal can give an order that this copy should not be sent and this representation also should not be read out at the meeting. Correct? So if it is derogatory to company or even any person, it can be applied, we can apply to the tribunal. Is this clear? This was the second part. Auditor is being removed by whom? By the members. Correct? Third case, auditor can be removed by the tribunal if the auditor is a party to fraud. So either he himself is committing the fraud or else he is helping the directors and managers commit this fraud as well. So only and only in case of fraud, tribunal will have the power to remove this auditor, correct? But uske liye application has to be made to the tribunal. So we saw 3 people have to apply. Either it is tribunal suo motu or CG or any person concerned. Applies to whom? Tribunal. Tribunal will pass an order. Firstly, tribunal will direct the company to remove this particular auditor, to change the auditor, correct? Other than that, kyunki fraud involved hai, this auditor will be liable under section 447, where the amount is the penalty. Who will be liable? Is it only the auditor or the entire audit firm will be liable? Firm, because firm ka liability is joint and several. But jail kaun jayega? Only this particular auditor. Along with that, this auditor also will have a ban. Matlab he cannot practice at all. For how many years? For 5 years. Ye company ka auditor nahi ban sakta. Can he become the auditor of some other company? No, this is a complete ban, correct? So 4 types of orders tribunal is going to pass. For 3 types of orders with extra point. First order is remove the auditor. Second is such auditor will be liable under section 447. If we talk about the fine over here, who is liable? The entire firm and all the other partners are liable. And last is what? Ban. Ban on whom? On the auditor for 5 years. Tribunal, in how many days will they give the order? Tribunal will give the order in such days. But if application is made by CG, then tribunal will pass the order in 15 days, and CG also has got the power to appoint another auditor. So CG to appoint an auditor in its place. So this is applicable only and only if application was made by CG. Actually, who can make application? Either suo motu tribunal or CG or any person. But this is applicable only and only where application was made by CG. Is this clear? This was with respect to 140 with respect to removal. Hai na? 140 has got 2 parts. One is removal, one is resignation. Resignation means what? Who is giving resignation? Auditor. Means auditor does not want to continue as an auditor. Can he resign? Yes. And when auditor gives this notice, he has to also file a form called as ADT 3 with whom? Company as well as with ROC. Within how many days? 30 days of his resignation. If it's a government company, then company, ROC and C and AG as well. Ye तीनों के साथ ADT 3 has to be filed, correct? And there is a punishment as well. Punishment is what? Auditor is not filing ADT 3. It is how much? 50,000 or the remuneration out of this whichever is lower, and for a continuing offense 500 per day up to rupees. Maximum is 2 lakhs. Is this clear also? Yes? Okay, 141 is what? Eligibility, qualification and disqualification of the auditor. What does 141 say? Who can be an auditor? Either individual or a firm. If it is an individual, then CA in practice. If it is a firm, then majority of the partners who are practicing in India should be qualified for appointment. Means they should be all CAs in practice, correct? We had seen this example as well. If there are 20 partners in a firm, if 12 of them are outside India and only 8 are in India, can this firm be qualified? Yes, but one more additional condition to be satisfied is what? Out of that 8, how many should be practicing in India? How many should be CAs is 5 or more, correct? Agar ye wala hai, this case, can this firm be qualified? No, 3 is majority, but we are talking about majority of the number 8 over here. All those who are practicing in India, correct? You remember this as well? Okay, the next part tells what? That the CA related, CA practicing in India, he should be having a COP, and the COP will be given as per what? As per Chartered Accountants Act 1949, correct? COP agar nahi hai, can he be called a CA in practice? No. And if he is not called CA in practice, can he be the auditor? He cannot, correct? Then who will be signing the audit report? Either, if it's a firm, then who will be signing it? Any partner who is a who is a CA in practice, correct? If it is an individual, then that individual will be signing it, correct? Now, very, very important, disqualifications of auditor. So, if any of these disqualifications are attracted, then can he be the auditor of the company? No. How many points do we have here? 9 points. The first one is what? If it is a body corporate. So, basically, who can be appointed is only either an individual or a firm, and firm always includes an LLP. Any other form of body corporate is disqualified, right? Second one is what? If he is an officer or employee of the company, correct? Officer means whoever is the either director, manager or KMP. If he himself is an employee or officer, he cannot be the auditor, right? Next one, if it is a partner or employee of the officer or employee, he also is disqualified. Fine. Next one is 3 persons doing 3 things in how many companies? 5 companies, correct? Who are those 3 persons? Person, his partner or his relative are doing 3 things means what? Either holding security or are indebted or given a guarantee in how many companies? 5 company, that is cashes. One last time tell me what a cash is. Ek to company, associate, subsidiary, holding and sister subsidiary. Sister subsidiary ko what will you call? Subsidiary of its holding company, correct? Now when we are talking about holding securities, how much securities? Okay, for this point is there any exemption? Exemption is for whom? Relative. Relative can hold how much? Not exceeding face value of how much? 1 lakh. Auditor himself can hold how much? 0. Even if auditor is holding even 1 share, he will be disqualified, correct? So how much value is allowed? Face value of not exceeding 1 lakh can be held only and only by the relative. Partner is holding 1 share, then disqualified. Auditor is holding 1 share, that also is disqualified, correct? Second point over here is indebtedness. Whose indebtedness again? Same those 3 people ka. And how much indebtedness ke liye disqualify rahega? If the indebtedness is more than, in excess of how much? 5 lakh. So 5 lakh indebtedness, is it allowed? Yes, 5 lakh 1 rupee, is it allowed? No, he will be disqualified. And normally company sells goods on credit to the customers and 1 month credit period is allowed. Auditor ke liye, when will he be disqualified? Is it after 1 month or immediately? Immediately he is going to be disqualified. So normal course of business mein agar time diya hai kisi ko, this cannot be a valid reason for giving time to the auditor, correct? And next one is given a guarantee. Guarantee of how much? Greater than or equal to 1 lakh. So 1 lakh ka guarantee diya hai, then also auditor will be, this person will be disqualified, correct? If the auditor or his relatives are holding shares before he is appointed as an auditor, then can he be appointed as an auditor? No, because he is disqualified. But after his appointment, if they have acquired shares, then he will have to take a corrective action within how many days? 60 days. Corrective action here will be what? Asking them to sell. If they don't agree to sell, then he will be disqualified. So how much time is given to him is basically 60 days. For second case and third case, indebtedness and guarantee, how many days are given? No days. Immediately he will be disqualified, correct? With respect to indebtedness, we saw 1 point is this point, that in case it is normal course of business, maybe jo time de raha hai for auditor, that is not counted. And one more point we have, if fees is to be paid on a progressive basis. Advance payment client has done, but auditor has not yet rendered his service. So if auditor doesn't render his service, he has to return that fees back, correct? But we are not going to count this as if it is indebtedness. So indebtedness ke 2 points, one is ordinary course and another is this progressive basis. Is this clear? Yes. Any other point over here? No? Did we cover all the points? Yes. Relative means who? The same definition which we know. Okay. The next one is what? Where any person or a firm directly or indirectly enters into any business relation, then also that firm or individual is going to be disqualified. But 2 types of business relations are allowed. First is professional service is rendered by the auditor. Means what kind of service? Whatever services are allowed to be rendered under which act? Again, the CA Act. And second is if our auditor is entering into transaction at an arm's length price. Normally, if we call it as arm's length, it means that it is in the ordinary course of business, correct? Auditor is going, auditor of a hospital is in front of that hospital and faints. Can he go and get admitted in that hospital? Yes, pakka chalega aise? Yes, remember so many examples I had given, correct? So arm's length is allowed, and one more thing is allowed is professional services, right? Next disqualification is a person whose relative is what? Either a director or he is a KMP, whether or not they are in employment. Executive, non-executive director, any type of director he is or KMP he is, then this person is going to be disqualified. Director, a person ka relative, if the relative is an employee of the company, can the person be an auditor? Yes, he can. Only if the relative is a director, then he cannot be the auditor, correct? Next one, 2 points over here. First is, if a person is in full-time employment. If he is in full-time employment, ICI only will not give him COP. If ICI is not giving COP, then he cannot be the auditor. But we are not talking about ICI here. Only over here, if you say a person cannot be in full-time employment, where but? Elsewhere, correct? Or second is talks about the ceiling limit. A person can be an auditor only and only for how many companies? Maximum 20 companies. So from which number of companies he is going to be disqualified? 21st company. But while we are calculating this, we don't count these 4 types of companies. 5 types. What are they? First is branch audits are excluded. Then OPC. Next a small company. Next dormant company. And next a private company whose paid up share capital is not exceeding 100 crores. Plus these companies have not committed default in 92 and 137. It means as per just this section, can the auditor be an auditor of 100 small companies? Yes. 500 OPCs? Yes. Irrespective of the turnover, irrespective of the paid up share capital, correct? So these 5 are not counted in the ceiling limit. Now this ceiling limit that is there, if we are talking about a firm, is it for the whole firm together or is it per person, per partner? It is per partner, correct? A, B, C are partners. So, including the ceiling limit, they can be the auditors of how many companies? 20 companies, correct? Can one person be the auditor of 60 companies and other 2 0 and 0? That is not allowed because this limit is per partner, which is not in case of what types of audit? Tax audits, correct? In case of tax audit, how many are allowed? 60 are allowed. So, 60 agar raha, can a single person be the have the signing power for how many? 180 audits. That is allowed, okay? Tax audit and this statutory audit, these two are different, right? Then the next disqualification is what? If a person is convicted by a court in case of a fraud, then holidays, how many years? 10 years. So for a period of 10 years, he cannot be appointed. After 10 years, no problem, he can be appointed as an auditor, correct? And last one is what? If he is rendering any services under the section 144. So 144 gives us a list of negative services, also prohibited services. So ye agar services, ye agar auditor hai company ka, he is not allowed to render these services. If he renders these services, then he will be disqualified. But these services should not be rendered to which company? Only 3 companies, they are the company itself or its holding or its subsidiary. Means can these services be rendered to an associate? Yes. To a sister subsidiary? Yes, that also is allowed. Now let us go directly to this 144. 144 talks about prohibited list or the negative list. And what is that list? I am FIFA. So who is disqualified here? Is the auditor. Can any other CA render these services? Yes, definitely. But auditor of the company cannot render these services. I am FIFA. First I is what? Internal audit. Next is A is accounting and bookkeeping services. M is management services. F is design and implementation of financial information system. Then next I is 2 things. Investment advisory, investment banking. Then next F is again outsource the financial services, and S is actuarial services. And one more extra point is any other as may be prescribed, correct? So ye services prohibited hai, any other can be allowed. Like can the stat auditor also be the tax auditor? Yes, he can. Can he also provide maybe advice relating to mergers and acquisitions? Yes, all of that is allowed. This particular list wale services he cannot provide, correct? Now what other things over here? Any other services providing can be provided if it is approved by the board. Individual अगर रहा खुद से provide नहीं करना है, indirectly also he should not provide through any other person or his relative or any other entity where he has got a significant influence. Same point with respect to firm as well. And in case this point is attracted, means he provides any such service, then what? He is disqualified, and what is created is casual vacancy, correct? Casual vacancy will be filled up accordingly if it is a government company or a non-government company. Is this clear? This was 144. 141 was what? Eligibility, qualification, disqualification. 142 is what? Chotusa section, correct, which talks about remuneration. What is the remuneration of these auditors? It will be, yeah. Chotusa, what is it? Remuneration will be as decided, matlab where? It is fixed in the general meeting, or as may be decided by the, as may be decided by the members only. So members can tell the board कि तुम लोग बात करके you can fix the remuneration. Who has got the power to decide and fix the remuneration is actually the members. As a matter of general rule, I had told you, whoever appoints, that person only will fix the remuneration. So auditors are appointed by whom? By the members. So who fixes the remuneration? Members. First auditors ka appointment will be decided by the board, because who is appointing them again is the board only. But there's one exception, do you remember? Yes, in case of government audits, the government companies, appointment is done by CNAG, remuneration is fixed by the members, correct? Remuneration will include the fees. It can also include out-of-pocket expenses and also the taxes, correct? Or can the auditor and the company decide that one fixed amount will include everything? Yes, as per the agreement, that fees is going to be valid, correct? Now, this fees will be only for stat audit. कुछ और service अगर auditor render कर रहा है, can he charge any other fees? Definitely, that will be in addition to this fees, right? So 142 is with respect to remuneration. 143 is a huge section which talks about powers and duties of the auditors. Shall we do this and then go to the next section only? Okay. So 143 talks about, first and foremost, 143.1 talks about what? Correct. The rights and duties of the auditor. How many rights does the auditor have? 5 rights. What are the rights? Bina lien. First B is what? Right to access books of accounts. Then I is to obtain information and explanation. Then N is receive notice of the general meeting. And last one is A. Sorry. A is audit report to members. And lien is what? Right of lien. Correct? Abhi ek point see quickly. First one is right to access books of accounts. Books of accounts which are kept where? At the registered office. Can they be kept at any other place? Yes. Can he have access to that books of accounts as well? Of course. And if it is a holding company, they are also required to prepare consolidated financial statement. So he can also have an access to the subsidiary ke accounts as well. Yes or no? है ना? Branch office. What about branch office? Books are maintained at the registered office. He has got access to that. What about branch office? He also has got a right to access the branch records, correct? Actually speaking, branch auditor, can he be a different auditor? Yes. Agar wo different auditor hai, what will he do then? He will do the audit and he will give the audit report to this auditor, correct? But if you talk about rights, he also has got a right to access the branch accounts, okay? Then next one, right to obtain information and explanation regarding what? Regarding what? Whatever queries he has and he is asking, he should be getting the information and explanation. Hai na? If it is not provided to him, what will he do? He will qualify the audit report. So he should mention in the audit report that he has been denied this access. Hai na? Next one, right to receive the notice and even attend the general meeting. This is another section. We'll cover it in a few minutes. Next one, his report will be to whom? To board or to members? To the members. He will see that AS and SAs are complied with, that financial statements are giving the true and fair view, and anything as per CG order is supposed to be included, whether it is included or not, and to the best of his, information and knowledge, he is going to say that this report, that the financial statements are giving a true and fair view, correct? Next one, he has got a right of lien. Right of lien on what? On the books of accounts. If how many conditions are satisfied? 4 conditions. First condition is that the books are whose? The client's books, and that client only has not given him the money. Correct? Next one is, how did he receive the books of accounts? With the authority of the client. Did he steal it from the client? No. With his authority, he has received it. Third one is, if he has done the work, only then he can exercise lien. And last is, for what reason is he exercising the lien? That the remuneration or the fees is not paid to him. Once again, tell me the 4 conditions. First one, the books belong to the client who owes the money. Next one, books are in his possession with the authority of the client. Third one, he has done some work and he has retained only because fees has not been paid. Correct? But practically, when we are talking about this, is it actually practically possible? No, because these days everything is electronic record. If the client gives the data in a hard disk, they'll keep the hard disk. Correct? But kuch fayda nahi hai uska, hai na? That's why they've told over here as well that it is impractical. One more, this last sentence, lien on working papers, it seems. Working papers of auditor belongs to whom? Auditor himself. So can he exercise the lien? Of course, he only will exercise the lien. Is he bound to show or ask every question he has to the client? No. He will only show or disclose that information which will not undermine the validity of the work that he has performed. He doesn't want to show it. Can he not show it? Definitely yes, because those working papers are whose property? The auditor's property. Correct? These were the rights. Once again, how many rights do we have? 5 rights. What are they? First is right to access books of accounts. Next, to obtain information and explanation. Then, to receive notice and attend the general meeting. Next one, report. To whom? Report to the members. And last is right of lien. Correct? How many duties does the auditor have? 1 duty. And what's the 1 duty? To inquire. Inquire into how many matters? 6 matters. First matter is loans and advances. Ek baar pure just tell the headings, then we'll go back again. Yes, how did we remember this? Yes, calling dip. So first one was what? Shares have been allotted for cash. Next one was L was what? Loans and advances. Next is D, loans shown as deposits. Next is I, sale of investment. Then B is book entries. And last S is, what is it? Yes, personal expenses. है ना? अभी एक point देखो. First point over here, loans and advances that were made on the basis of security. If there are 2 things to be seen. Firstly, they are properly secured and they are not correct. The terms are not prejudicial to the interest of the company or of its members. Correct? When will company give a loan? Only when company has got extra money. If company has extra money, that money belongs to the shareholders. Yes or no? So money belongs to the shareholders. So if the company has done something which is prejudicial, it should be reported by the auditor. Second point is transactions represented by book entries, and these book entries also should not be prejudicial. So depreciation provisions, everything is proper or not. Next one, sale of investments. 3 points over here. Firstly, it is a non-banking company. Second, invest not much of its assets, contain investments in shares or any other securities, and if they have been sold for a price which is less than the purchase price. अगर ये 3 चीज हो रहा है, only then auditor has to report. Next one is loans and advances which are shown as deposits. So what kind of deposits are we talking about? Security deposit or rental deposit. So if it is a loan, if I'm taking a premise on rent, I have to give a security deposit, which means if I vacate these premises, I will get that money back, correct? But to show the company has given a loan, but instead of showing it as a loan, they have shown it as a deposit. If company has done that, that also has to be reported. Next one, if personal expenses of the directors and officers are charged to the revenue P&L account. And last one, if shares have been allotted for cash, then what? If 2 cases. First case, cash is actually received. If it is received, no problem. But if cash is not received, then accounting has to be done correctly. Correct? Cash received nahi hua hai, uska problem nahi hai. Whether the accounting has been done correctly or not, if it is misleading, then it should be reported, correct? So calling dibs is what over here? The duty to inquire into these 6 matters. है ना? Is this clear? Able to recollect? Okay. Then next one, audit should report to whom? Obviously report to members on the accounts examined, on the financial statements. We just told this also. Auditor's report will contain that after considering provisions of the Act, AS and SAs and matters to be included as specified by CG to the best of his information and knowledge, they give a true and fair view. Just now we discussed in rights as well, correct? Then next one is the report on what? On assertions. Assertions are made by whom? Assertions are made by the management. What is auditor doing is reporting. Many points over here. We divided these points. First is how many points? 5 points. Next is 3 adverse points. Next is 1 point with an exception, and then is as prescribed. And as prescribed had how many points? 7 points, correct? So see once, first 5 points, reporting on assertions. First thing what is done? Whatever information which was asked, sought by the auditors, whether the auditors have obtained that information and explanation. Second point is what? In auditor's opinion, the books of accounts that are maintained are in compliance of section 128, correct? Next one is the branch office. If it was some other auditor who has audited it, then that person has given the report to this auditor, company auditor, right? Next one is the company's balance sheet and P&L are in agreement with the books of accounts and the financial statements are in compliance with accounting standards. Yes. Once again, ये याद नहीं आ रहा है तुमको. एक individual points you remember, but once again tell me all these 5 points. First point is what? He has sought and obtained all information and explanation. Next one, proper books of accounts are maintained by the company. Next one, other person is, so branch auditor has forwarded the report to the company auditor. Next one, balance sheet and P&L is as per the books of accounts, financial statements is in compliance with accounting standards. 3 matters to be reported only if they are adverse. First is what? Financial matters, financial transactions, if they have any adverse effect on functioning of the company. Second point, if the director is disqualified under section 164. And last one, if adverse remarks with respect to maintenance of books of accounts, correct? One exception wala point is what? To report on internal IFCs, internal financial controls, and if these IFCs are operating effectively or not. So IFC and ICs, we spoke about this, you remember? Yes. Is it auditor's duty to report on ICs, internal control? No. IFC pe? Yes, he will have to, and whether they are operating effectively or not as well. But there is one exception here. If it is OPC or small company or private company which has got a turnover not exceeding 50 crores, borrowings, not borrowing plus deposit or only borrowing? Only borrowing, not exceeding 25 crores plus what? Plus no default in 92 and 137. In case IFC pe, there is no need to give a report, correct? Do you remember this? And last point is as may be prescribed. First is company has disclosed the impact of what? Of any pending litigation. So it should be shown as contingent liability. Company has done it correctly. Second one, what about the provisions? Provisions with respect to material foreseeable losses on what type of contract? Any long-term contract. Example, derivative contracts. But building ka example I had given, correct? Next one is what? If there is a delay in transferring to IEPF. Next one, 2 cases over here. Our company is a funding company. Company has given money to an intermediary. Intermediary has given money to the person who is prohibited or party who is prohibited. And second case is our company is acting as an intermediary, receiving money from funding party and giving money to any other prohibited person, correct? Agar aisa kuch bhi raha to what should our company do, auditor do? Report it. Not just that, he has to see and he has to also report if there is no such transaction. He has to report that nothing has come to their notice that such kind of transactions are entered by our company. Yaad aaya ye? Yes. Then next point is with respect to dividend. Dividend compliance of section 123. And next one is with respect to accounting software, that the company is using a software which also has got an audit trail. And last is remuneration that is paid to the directors, that whether or not they are in excess of the limit that is laid down as prescribed. Correct? So other prescribed points jo hai, how many did we have? 7 points. First point was with respect to pending litigation. Next is provisions. Next is IEPF, delay in IEPF. Next is funding and intermediary. Next is dividend under 123. Next is accounting software, and last is remuneration paid to the directors. है ना? Can auditor qualify his report? Yes. Can he just say qualified report hai, but I'll not tell why? No, it is compulsory to specify the reasons for qualifications. Correct? Now we are talking about powers of whom? CNAG. So this will apply only and only in case of government companies or government entities, government controlled entities. Correct? We divided this into 3 points, 3 parts. First, powers of CNAG for these 3 things. What are they? Appointment of first auditor as well as subsequent auditor. Second point is direct the auditor in what way the audit to be carried out, the manner of conducting the audit. And last point is what? To receive the audit report. So CNAG has got the power to receive the audit report. If the audit report is received and within 60 days, if CNAG wants, they can also do these 2 things. What are the 2 things? First is, yes, conduct a supplementary audit. For the purpose of conducting supplementary audit, can CNAG ask for additional information? Yes, and not just that, ये supplementary audit करने के बाद जो audit report आया है, what our CNAG can do is comment on such an audit report. Whatever is the comment on audit report, that also has to be attached to the financial statements and sent to all the persons who have a right to receive financial statements under section 136. 3 people have a right under 136. Who are they? Members, then debenture trustee and any other person so entitled. So jahan we are sending financial statement, we will also have to send this audit report rahega, correct? And other than this, comment as well, hai na? But this right can be exercised by CNAG only within 60 days of receipt of the audit report. Clear? 60 days agar ho gaya to this right cannot be exercised. So test audit karo, supplementary audit karo, this right cannot be exercised, hai na? Other than that, there is another extra right called for conducting a test audit. What is test audit and whatever is given under which act? CNAG Act, section number yaad rakh lo bas, section 19A of CNAG Act. Okay? So as per that only this test audit will be carried out. So CNAG has got 3 powers. First power is 3 points. What are they? Appoint first as well as subsequent auditor. Second, direct the manner of conducting the audit. And last is receive audit report. Within 60 days of receipt, what can they do? Conduct a supplementary audit. Supplementary audit hai to ask for additional information and also give the comments. Ye bhi jo bhi comments hai should be given to all the persons under section 136. Simple. Then the last part over here is about branch audit. Branch audit means, branch means what? Any place that is called as a branch. Hai na? If you don't call it as a branch, then branch audit is not required. Correct? But if you're calling it as a branch, then branch audit is required. Branch audit can be conducted by whom? Either company's auditor or any other. Depends upon whether the branch is located in India or outside India. If it is a domestic branch, then who can conduct the audit? The company auditor or any other auditor who is qualified, correct? And if it is outside India, then company auditor or any other qualified person, but as per the law of land of that country. So if you open a branch in New York, then who can be the auditor? Either company auditor or any other CPA in practice, correct? I have a CA friend. Can he be the auditor? He cannot. But he can be auditor if the branch is a domestic branch, not if it is a foreign branch, correct? Who will appoint this branch auditor? Board of Directors. Member ka OR ya SR zaruri hai kya? No. So no role for the members in appointing such a branch auditor, correct? Can CG exempt branches from conducting the audit? Answer is no. There is no such provision empowering CG to exempt branch offices. Then the powers and duties of this branch auditor will be exactly same as company auditor, and he will also prepare a report, but that report will be sent to the company auditor. Correct? Company auditor, in his audit report, he is going to talk in the manner necessary about this branch audit. Right? Is it mandatory to give the audit report to the board? No, not mandatory, but can it be given? Yes. So there is no administrative objection if it is given to the board of directors. Correct? Is it compulsory to visit the branches also? No. Without visiting the branches, can you conduct the audit and give an audit report? Definitely yes. There's no problem at all. This was about branch audit. Then छोटू sections. Auditor has got an obligation to comply with whom? With what? With AS. Correct? AS will be prescribed by. Okay, made by ICI, forwarded to NAFRA, NAFRA to CG, prescribed, issued by CG. This is same section for AS which we have is 133, correct? For SAs that we have is this one, 143, etc. Okay, next one, CG can specify by order that such companies should include such kind of details in their audit report. And what are those details that have been prescribed? Is the CARO 2000. Next one is very important, reporting on frauds. What has our auditor done? He has found a fraud committed by whom? The officers or employee. Two things can happen. First is what? Either the fraud amount is how much? Greater than or equal to 1 crore, or it is less than 1 crore. If it is greater than equal to 1 crore, then what should he do? This 1 crore applies for what types of frauds? Collective or individual? Individual frauds. So auditor has found 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs ka fraud. Then it will fall under less than 1 crore. The second category. है ना? याद आया ये? So बड़ा fraud मिला है auditor को. What should he do immediately? Make a report. Make the report when? Immediately, but not later than 2 days, and give this to the board of directors. Board should give their reply observations within 45 days. What should our auditor do then? This report plus this reply will be sent to CG within how many days? Within 15 days. Agar board ही 45 days के अंदर reply नहीं किया, then this report along with a notice will be sent to whom again? Again the CG, correct? And few what stationary compliances. First is what, to whom will you send it? Secretary, MCA. How will you send it? Only 2 types of posts. What are they? Registered post acknowledgement due, or by speed post. Can you send it by ordinary post? No. Iske साथ what else will you do is send it by email. When you are writing this, preparing this, it will be on the letterhead of the auditor. It will be signed by the auditor with his seal and membership number, and it will be in the form ADT4. Agar छोटू fraud hai, then what will auditor do? Report to whom? Audit committee or to the board within how many days? Same. Immediately. Start with immediately. Immediately, not later than 2 days. And he will specify these 3 things. First is nature of fraud, then amount involved, and the parties that are involved. So, yes, sab board dekhega, and board will mention in their board report these 3 things plus one more thing, that is remedial action taken. So, if a particular director has done a fraud, whether they have removed that director or not, or what other action have they taken, will be specified in their board report. Correct? Auditor has reported something. Auditor had reason to believe कि fraud हुआ था, but actually fraud नहीं हुआ था. Auditor की कुछ गलती है क्या? No, he will not be treated as if he is guilty or deemed for any misconduct or anything. Okay? These obligations are applicable not just to the company auditor, but also to cost auditor and even to CS. Cost auditor is appointed under section 148. CS will be appointed under section 204. So, agar fraud hai, छोटू fraud है या बड़ा fraud है, same provisions are applicable, है ना? And punishment for non-compliance, if it is a listed company, then 5 lakhs, and any other company it is 1 lakh. This is for whom? Punishment is for whom? For auditor or what is this? Cost auditor or for CS. Correct? This was what? Section number 143. Then next one, 144 was the negative list, prohibited list. We have covered already. Two sections now. 145 talks about signing of the audit report. The person who is appointed as an auditor, individual, he will sign the audit report. If it is a firm, who can sign it? Any partner can sign it, provided he is He is a CA in practice, correct? Reading out of the audit report and inspection of the audit report will be given to the members only and only if it has got any adverse effect on the functioning of the company. So qualification is given by the auditor that this kind of a transaction has got an adverse effect. Only then this audit report will be read out at the general meeting. अगर कुछ भी ऐसा qualification नहीं है, then it will not be read out. But will it be sent to the members? Yes. But reading out will be done only in case of adverse effect. That too only on the functioning of the company. Clear? Then 146 talks about notice. Notice, is auditor entitled to receive the notice? Yes. उसका related कोई matter नहीं है. Should he still receive the notice? Yes. The company, the board has to send the notice to this auditor. Does he have a right to attend the general meeting? Yes. Not just attend the general meeting. Okay. Firstly, attending the general meeting can be done either by himself or through an authorized representative who is also qualified to be appointed as an auditor. So another partner, can he also go and attend the meeting? Yes. Can this auditor send his article to attend the meeting? No, because article is not qualified to be appointed as an auditor, correct? Now other than this, he also has got a right to be heard at the meeting, but heard only with respect to what? Such matters which concern him as an auditor. Accounts related, financial statement related agar kuch hai and this auditor wants to talk something, can he talk? Yes, but only matters should concern him, for that he can talk, correct? Can company exempt the auditor from attending? Yes, auditor will have to write to the company, to the board of directors, and then they can exempt him from attending the meeting. Hai na? I think I missed a point over here. Agenda doesn't contain any matters with respect to them. Should they still receive the notice? Yes, I covered this. Okay. Okay, done. 147 talks about punishment. Punishment for contravention by the company and by the auditor. By the company, the how much penalty? 25,000 to 5 lakhs. And if it is officer, then 10,000 to 1 lakh or 1 year or both. And if we talk about the auditor, then we are going to see two things over here. First is whether there is an intention to deceive or no intention to deceive. If no intention to deceive, फिर भी तो गलती हुआ है, what will be the penalty? 25,000 to 5 lakhs or 4 times the amount of remuneration, whichever is lower. And if the intention is to deceive, then 50,000 to 25 lakhs or 8 times the remuneration, whichever is lower. And imprisonment of how much? 1 year. Other than these two other things, first is refund the remuneration and pay damages जिसको भी loss हुआ है because of this misleading report that our auditor has given. This is applicable. These 2 points, that is refund and pay damages, is applicable only in case of intention to deceive. So no intention to deceive अगर रहा तो only that fine रहेगा. But intention to deceive रहेगा, fine रहेगा, imprisonment रहेगा, as well as these 2 things, which is refund the remuneration and pay the damages, correct? CG is also going to do one exciting thing, appoint either a body or an authority for ensuring that these damages are paid to the persons who have been affected. And once this payment is done, this person has to prepare a report and give it to CG, correct? Now, if it is an audit firm, then what will be the liability? It is joint and several. Everyone is going to be liable. Is this clear? Then 148 is a total separate section which talks about cost audit, correct? Shall we start this? Half second breathing. कर रहे अपन ये. Just continue. Okay. Cost audit. Cost audit, who can be appointed as the cost auditor? Who can be appointed as the cost auditor? He should be a CWA. That's it. He should be a cost accountant. इतना ही है ना word? या उसके बाद कुछ और 1-2 words है? नहीं है. So only and only a cost accountant can be appointed as the cost auditor. Yes or no? Okay, this point is there kahin to baad mein. Let's go in order. So maintenance, this section talks about 2 major things. First is maintenance of cost records and another is audit, whether audit has to be done or not. So that is cost audit. Who are required to maintain cost records? Who is going to give this order? CG. CG will give order for such class of companies which are engaged in production of such goods or provide such services to maintain such books of accounts. Correct? Now coming back to something material over here, what CG has given an order is any company which is engaged in production of such goods and services जिसका overall turnover is how much? 35 crore or more. When in the preceding year, what should they do is maintain cost records. Correct? Maintenance of cost records will be done in a particular format which is prescribed. Again, CRA1 is the prescribed format for maintenance of cost records. Correct? Are they required to conduct an audit? 35 crores and more agar hai, to are they required to conduct an audit? No. What are they required to do is maintain cost records. Whether or not they should conduct an audit depends upon if it is in the regulated sector or non-regulated sector, and there we have conditions as well. Correct? But once again, which companies are required to maintain cost records? If the overall turnover from what goods and services? All goods and services is how much? 35 crores or more. इसमें एक company included है which is foreign company, and 2 companies are excluded which is only micro and small enterprises as per which act? MSME Act. MSME talks about 3 things, M, S and M, which is micro, small and medium. Medium को exemption है क्या? नहीं है, but sorry, is medium correct? But what is excluded is only micro and small enterprises. Correct? Now, what do you mean by regulated sector? Regulated sector means any company engaged in these 6 types of works. What are they? Telecommunication, electricity, petroleum, drugs and pharma, fertilizers and sugar, which is industrial alcohol. याद आ रहा है ये? Electricity related कुछ भी चीज which is generation, distribution or regulation of electricity. So all these companies will be called as what? Regulated sector, and everything else other than these 6 will be called as non-regulated. If a company is falling under regulated sector, for cost audit to be applicable, 2 conditions are to be satisfied. First condition is the gross turnover, matlab overall turnover should be how much? 50 crores or more, and individual product ka turnover should be how much? 25 crores or more. You remember that sugar example I had given, even petroleum things, correct, makeup products, everything, perfect. If it is non-regulated, then when should cost audit be done? If the gross turnover is 100 or more and single product ka turnover is how much? 35 crores or more, correct? These cost records that are maintained, the format of maintenance is CRA1, but we should be able to derive a particular figure which we need, and that figure is what? Facilitating calculation of per unit cost of production. So whatever cost sheet you are preparing, per unit cost you should be able to determine. If you are maintaining cost records but you are not able to calculate per unit cost, can you call that as cost records? No, you cannot. Ye bhi yaad aaya? Yes? Okay. Then cost audit rules will not apply in these cases. So 3 exemptions we have over here. First is EOUs, but how much? 75% EOUs. So their 75% or more revenue is from what? Is from export. Second, they are operating in SEZs, and third, they are generating electricity but for captive consumption. So CG can make audit applicable to them, है ना? By an order at any later date. इन लोगों को maintenance of books of accounts से maintenance of cost records से exemption है क्या? No. If 35 crores exceed हो रहा है, should they maintain cost records? Yes. Audit की जरूरत नहीं है. So if the cost records are there, can CG give an order and make audit also applicable to them? Yes. Then this rule says what? Auditor to be appointed. Cost auditor to be appointed within how many days? 180 days of commencement of the financial year. We have 180 days at one more place. He is going to prepare the report, है ना? Report will be prepared. ये है 180 days from the end of the financial year. Appointment within 180 days of commencement, and report to be prepared within 180 days from the end. Anyway, let's go in order. See what are all these points. Appointment within 180 days. Then What should company do once they appoint the auditor? Inform him that he is the auditor. Not just inform him, send a notice to whom? To CG as well, and notice to CG to be sent within 30 days. 30 days of board meeting, which also tells us appointment to be done in a board meeting only by passing a board resolution. Correct? He will continue in his capacity till expiry of 180 days from the closure or till he submits his audit report, whichever is earlier. है ना? Yes or no? Okay. This audit report, whatever reservations or qualifications the auditor has, it will be mentioned in the report. अगर ऐसा कुछ भी mentioned है, this report has to be forwarded to the board of directors within how many days? Within a period of, correct, 180 days of the closure of the financial year. याद आया ये? Once this is given, क्या है? Board will consider and examine this report and they will talk about it. Okay. Agar fraud raha, then again the same section will apply. Same chotu fraud or bada fraud, 1 crore wala. And who can be the cost auditor? Any cost accountant. Practice mein hona zaruri hai kya? No, words are not given over here. Company auditor, he is a cost accountant as well. Can he be the cost auditor? He cannot. Cost auditor agar hai, he has to comply with the cost accounting standards. Right? What is this now? Appointment and remuneration, it seems. Appointment will be done by the board, but remuneration will be fixed by the members. Correct? So audit committee agar hai, audit committee will recommend it to the board and appointment will be done by the board. If there's no audit committee, then it will be appointed by the board only. Correct? Then what? Casual vacancy agar hua, due to what reason? Any reason, which can be resignation, death or removal. Who will fill it up? Board. Within how many days? Within 30 days. For a company auditor, it depends why is the casual vacancy. It will be filled in different way, but if it's cost auditor, we don't see the reason. Board to fill it within 30 days. Correct? All the rights, disqualifications, qualifications, duties, everything will apply. Whatever applies to the auditor will also apply to the cost auditor, and the report will be submitted by cost auditor to whom? To the board of directors. Is the cost audit report given to the members? No, it will be given to the board of directors. Correct? Audit report to whom? Audit report to the members. Branch ka audit report to whom? To the company's auditor. And cost audit report to whom? To the board of directors. Correct? Few chotu points again. Submission of cost audit report to the board within how many days? Within 180 days. Agar kuch bhi explanation, sorry, what is it? If there is any reservation, it should also be given to the CG within how many days? Within 30 days along with the board ka explanation. Yes or no? See this point, you'll be able to recollect. Yes, such report along with full information and explanation on every reservation has to be given to CG. Correct? Can CG ask for any further information? Yes, and where CG is asking for further information, company has to furnish the same information. Correct? And agar kuch bhi default hua, the same 147 is applicable. Right? Audit committee, companies are required to have an audit committee only and only. Firstly, this is given under section 177. Only if a company is a listed company or it is public company. With what? Paid up share capital of 10 crores or more, turnover of 100 crores or more, loans and deposits of how much? 50 crores or more. Agar private company raha to 500 crores turnover hai, then also audit committee is not required. This is only and only for listed or public company. Correct? Baki pura was just for your information. Right?